Are you hoping to retire before age 59 and a half? If so, what's your strategy to get income from your accounts? I'm going to explain the rule of 55, that and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Are you planning to retire before age 59 and a half? That's not a lot of people. It's not all of us, but my goodness, if it's you, fantastic. And I'm sure you've been planning all along. And the financial planning process is going to be vitally important for you because you've got to figure out, where can I get income from before turning age 59 and a half? You know that for your tax sheltered accounts that you can draw those dollars out once you reach that magical age of 59 and a half, which is such an obscure number anyway. But if you're retiring before then, well, where do you get income from? If you're selling a business or you've got some property or other income sources, that might be part of the solution. But we see folks all the time with the goal of retiring at, say, 54 or 57, and they've worked hard and they've reached that point, and their plan says, yeah, you're safe to retire at this point. Even, my folks retired before age 59 and a half. And so if that's you, what's your strategy to get access to income? It's really important at any time to determine the right withdrawal strategies from your investments, being tax sensitive. Even more important when you're retiring early, because there's no Social Security that's coming in yet. The earliest you can draw Social Security is 62, age 60 if you're a widow or widower. And so even more important to determine, well, where can you draw assets from? Where can you draw income from? So there are some options, and you're going to want to work with your CFP to explore which of those make sense in your situation. There's the 72T, or substantially equal periodic payments. You can do that from IRA type of accounts. That can help. It's got some restrictions, though, to it. But I want to talk about the rule of 55. That's another option if you've got a chunk of dollars in a 401k retirement plan with your employer right up until the time you're retiring. So here's how the rule of 55 works. If you are retiring from a company in the year that you're going to turn 55 or after, then you're able to draw dollars out of your 401k with that company. You're able to draw dollars out and avoid the 10% early withdrawal penalty. Essentially, it moves that age 59 and a half requirement down to age 55 for the employer's plan that you retired from. Those withdrawals, of course, if it's from the pre-tax side of that 401k, it's still going to be taxable to you. There's no way around that, but you'd avoid the 10% penalty if you retired or left employment from that company in the year that you're turning age 55 or after. So, fairly simple rule. A lot of people don't know that it exists, but actually through the Secure Act 2.0, they're rolling out new rules or expanded rules where you could get access to dollars before your normal retirement age. And so this might become more well known. But what are some of the most common questions? And then we'll get into whether it's something you should consider. First is, how strict are they on that age 55 rule? Well, very early in my career, I was dealing with this where someone was turning 55 later in the year, October, and they wanted to retire in June. They were still 54. And so we, did all the analysis and yeah, that's allowed. This would still be applicable to you because even though you're retiring at 54, you're retiring in the calendar year in which you're turning 55. Different example, this one later in my career, someone was downsized. They were let go from their employer in December when they were 54. They were turning 55 that next year. No, they did not retire in the year that they turned age 55. So how strict are they on that age 55 or after? Yeah, fairly strict, but it's in the year that you're turning age 55 or later. Does it have to be age 55? Could it be 56, 57? No, that's fine. It doesn't need to be in the exact year that you're turning 55. The other kind of tipping point with this is you can't retire from that company at 53 and then just wait to draw dollars from from that 401k until 55 because now you've reached 55 and you can nail it. It doesn't work like the age 59 and a half rule. It doesn't work that way. You've got to retire from or leave that employer where you have the 401k. You've got to leave that employer in the year that you're turning age 55 or after. Next question, what if you have other 401ks or old 401ks? When you retire from that one employer in the year you turn 55 or after, does that mean you can now draw funds from other old 401ks? No, it only applies to the retirement plan, the 401k plan that you have with the company, with the employer that you retired from or left employment with on or after age 55. So if you had, maybe you had a long career with one company, you'd built up a 401k with $1 million in it, and then a short career with this one company and you've got very little money in that, then you wouldn't be able to retire from that new company and draw from your old company and before age 59 and a half and avoid the 10% penalty. This does open up a planning opportunity that if that's you might want to consider, well, does your new 401k plan offer incoming rollovers or incoming transfers? Maybe you take that old 401k. I'm not a big fan of having old 401ks lying around anyway. They're often unmanaged or mismanaged. They don't have the right beneficiaries. They've got limitations to them. I would consider rolling those into an IRA or transferring them to an IRA. And maybe in this case, it would make sense to transfer some dollars into the new 401k plan. But no, it only applies, this withdrawal in the year you turn age 55 or after, where you avoid the 10% penalty, only applies to the 401k with the company that you're retiring from or leaving. And then lastly, what if I go get another job? Technically that works. Yes, you can actually retire from one employer in the year you turn age 55 or after, start drawing money out of that 401k. It would be taxable, but it would avoid the 10% penalty. And then to supplement that income, you could go get another job somewhere else and have that income and still be eligible to draw money from your old 401k, avoiding that 10% penalty. So lots of planning implications here. So I guess the practical application is this a strategy you should consider? Yeah. Yes, number one, you're going to want to do that 5-factor retirement plan, that 5-factor retirement analysis, looking at what age do you want to be done? And in this case, could you structure things so that you could be done early, 57, 56, something like that? How much do you plan on spending in retirement? And then this is a big one. If you're going to retire that early, what are you going to do for health insurance, and make sure you add that cost in there. You've got to add taxes in there and other expenses, inflation, so on. That's the second factor. What are your income sources? And again, I already mentioned one of the challenges with retiring early is no Social Security. So you're going to have to figure out where you're going to get other income from, or typically structure your investment so that you pull more dollars out early. Where will you get income from? Fourth is, how much do you have saved up for retirement, and how much are you saving up on an ongoing basis? And then lastly, how much risk are you taking? This is another one. If you're retiring earlier, some of the dollars, likely some of that portfolio that you've built up, needs to start shifting towards lower risk because it's dollars you're going to use sooner, even though your retirement's going to last longer because you're retiring sooner. So there again, you've got to look at all 5 of those factors. And just because you say, yeah, I want to be done at 57 or 56 or whatever, that's going to influence your choices in those other 5 factors. It might mean you've got to save up even more. It might mean you've got to find a way to spend even less, or find a way to get health insurance at a very, very low rate through making your income look very low. So look at those 5 factors, do that 5-factor analysis, that 5-factor retirement plan, determine and confirm that you are on track to retire earlier than age 59 and a half. And if so, you've got to consider this strategy. 2 other practical application things that you're going to want to keep in mind as you consider this. And I sort of already mentioned this, but if you're retiring that early, oftentimes you're going to compartmentalize your investments. One of the financial planning areas that you need to consider, this is one of the clear illustrations why we believe you've got to look at all 6 areas of your financial life in order to make great financial decisions, is retiring that early is going to influence your investment strategy and how you structure your investments. Because normally what this looks like is a 2 or 3 stage retirement approach, where when you retire that early, you're going to target sort of one account and say, this is the money that we're going to live on for this first X period of time. And likely that's going to be within the 401k because you can draw from that and not have to pay the 10% penalty. Then we're going to exhaust those dollars completely while the rest of the dollars remain, high growth or whatever. Then we're going to have this second chunk, and that's going to be the next bridge that gets us all the way, maybe from 59.5, that's going to get us all the way until we draw Social Security, whether that's 62, 67, 70, or whatever your strategy is. And then the final chunk, that final stage of retirement, these are going to be the assets that supplement our Social Security. However it works for you, just understand that there will probably be some buckets of money, we call it a personal pension plan, that you're going to want to implement as part of that retirement plan, retiring before age 59.5. And then lastly, along with that, it is okay to say, yeah, we're going to be drawing some dollars out of the 401k. You're going to retire after the year you're going to turn age 55. So this applies to you. You might have way more money in that 401k than you really need, than you're really going to spend before turning age 59.5. And the 401k has investment limitations, strategy limitations, and so on. So it's very possible as you're laying out that investment strategy to work this plan, you might take a large chunk of your 401k and transfer it to an IRA, leaving just the remaining dollars in the 401k that you plan on spending between retirement and age 59.5. But there again, this is why you need that comprehensive plan. You've got to look at all 6 areas of your financial life, your present financial position, so cash flow, protection planning, where are you going to get your health insurance from, how will that influence your tax planning, right? Your investment planning we just talked about, of course this is going to influence your retirement plan, and then estate planning, do you have the intention of leaving an inheritance, and what are your intentions if something happens to you? So this specific question or goal of retiring before age 59.5, you have to look at all 6 areas of your financial life in order to make a great decision. That's why you need a CFP. If you don't have a CFP on your team that can help you with that, contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us here as well, or send us an email, info@Korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.